Welcome to this explainer. If you've been following the AI space even a little bit lately, you know that deploying massive language models is, well, it's a massive headache. The bottleneck isn't even raw compute power anymore, it's actually memory. It's the physical limit of memory bandwidth. But today, we're diving into something that has completely rewritten the math on all of this, vLLM. Let's unpack exactly how this architecture is changing the game.
To really set the stage here, we need to start with a number that is just staggering. 73%. The enterprise giant Stripe achieved a 73% reduction in their AI infrastructure costs simply by switching their standard Hugging Face transformers over to the vLLM architecture. And we're not talking about a small deployment here. They are successfully processing 50 million daily API calls using just 1/3 of their previous GPU fleet. You know, that's not just an incremental update. That's an absolute paradigm shift in how we serve AI.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to cover the AI memory crisis, how paged attention changes everything, turbocharging token generation, hardware portability, the economics of scale, and finally, how to actually secure these enterprise deployments. Let's jump right into Section 1, the AI memory crisis. To really grasp why this was a crisis, we have to look at the literal physics of how AI generates text. When a model generates an answer, it happens in two phases. First, there's the prefill phase where it reads your prompt. Then, the decode phase where it generates the response one single token at a time. Now, to avoid the mathematically impossible task of recalculating the entire sequence for every single new word, the model saves the key and value vectors of the past tokens. We call that the KV cache. The problem? This cache grows insanely fast. It scales with sequence length, batch size, attention heads. I mean, for a 70 billion parameter model serving long requests, you're chewing through tens of gigabytes of VRAM just to retain this state. And that's completely separate from the memory needed for the model's actual weights. And this right here is exactly where the old systems completely fell apart. Traditional systems used what we call naive memory allocation. Because you fundamentally don't know how long an AI's response is going to be when you ask it a question, these older allocators force the system to reserve space based on the absolute maximum possible sequence length. So if your system had a 32,000 token window, it blocked off 32,000 tokens of space immediately, even if the AI just replied with a quick 100 token answer. This caused severe memory fragmentation, routinely wasting anywhere from 60 to 80% of a GPU's total memory capacity. It was literally just throwing resources out the window.
Think about it like this. Static allocation is kind of like reserving an entire 50-person restaurant for a party, but only 2 people actually show up, and they just order tap water. The rest of the tables are sitting completely empty, but the host won't let anyone else inside. Dynamic allocation, on the other hand, seats guests on demand as they walk through the door. Because of that massive fragmentation, traditional static allocation meant highly inefficient GPU utilization. We're talking capping out at maybe 30 to 40%.
All right, moving on to Section 2. Page attention changes everything. So researchers at UC Berkeley developed something called paged attention, and it is vLLM's defining innovation. It actually borrows heavily from classical operating system virtual memory. It works by chopping the cache of each sequence into fixed-size units known as KV blocks. The system maintains a global free block pool. Instead of requiring contiguous physical memory pointers, which causes all that fragmentation, each request gets an input batch object with a block table. This table takes logically continuous blocks of a generated sequence and maps them to scattered, non-contiguous physical blocks in the GPU's memory pool, so it provisions memory dynamically, step by step, only when tokens are actually generated.
Because all physical blocks are managed at a uniform, fixed size, usually around 16 tokens per block, that external fragmentation we talked about is completely wiped out. And internal fragmentation, it's mathematically bounded to a tiny maximum per sequence. By managing everything at this block level, paged attention takes that massive 60 to 80% memory waste we just looked at and drops it down to under 4%. It's just brilliant.
Which brings us to Section 3, turbocharging token generation.
Once they solved the core memory waste problem, the engineers realized they could push the hardware to its absolute limits using advanced scheduling paradigms. The first piece is continuous batching. Instead of waiting for the absolute longest sequence in a batch to finish before letting new requests in, vLLM's scheduler evaluates the queue at every single step. The millisecond a short sequence finishes, its memory is freed, and a new request is instantly injected. Next, they added chunked prefill to stop severe latency spikes. Massive prompts used to lock up the GPU for up to 400 milliseconds, blocking everything else. Chunked prefill breaks those massive prompts into smaller pieces and interleaves them. Finally, the Model Runner V2 engine replaces those old Python-bound execution limits with a fully GPU-native pipeline. It actively decouples the CPU scheduling from the GPU execution, ensuring the hardware literally never sits idle.
When you stack all of those innovations together, the real-world impact is absolutely wild. Under identical loads, when continuous batching is constantly saturating VRAM, raw throughput just explodes. We're talking a jump from a stagnant 41 tokens per second on a static engine all the way up to 793 tokens per second on vLLM. You are getting nearly 20 times the output on the exact same physical hardware. No hardware upgrades required.
Okay, Section 4, Hardware and Portability.
So what makes vLLM the de facto standard isn't just its speed, it's the fact that it breaks vendor lock-in. Infrastructure architects can deploy across a super diverse hardware landscape without rewriting their entire serving stack. Thanks to its universal plugin architecture, it supports an incredible ecosystem. NVIDIA's Turing, Hopper, and Blackwell chips are the primary targets, sure. But vLLM also has production-ready support for AMD's hyperscale MI55's chips. It supports Google Cloud TPUs, AWS Neuron, Intel XPU, and impressively, even Apple Silicon for edge deployments. In fact, a recent Metal kernel update for Apple Silicon delivered an 83x improvement in time to first token.
And as these models get unimaginably huge, vLLM handles memory compression beautifully. Take a 70 billion parameter model at standard BF16 precision. That requires almost 86 gigabytes of KV cache just for 8 concurrent users. But if you combine PagedAttention with advanced NVFP4 quantization on NVIDIA's Blackwell hardware, it actually shrinks that cache footprint by 75%. That unlocks an incredible 8x increase in concurrent users, meaning you can now serve 32 users simultaneously from a much smaller memory footprint.
Section 5. The economics of scale.
Let's step back and look at the financial reality here, because speed really only matters if the unit economics actually make sense. In the demanding April 2026 MLPerf v6.0 benchmarks, the NVIDIA Blackwell B200 just dominates throughput, hitting roughly 7,800 tokens per second per GPU. But more importantly, it brings the spot cost of generating 1 million tokens down to an unprecedented fraction of a cent. We're talking $0.073 per million tokens. The H200 and AMD's MI355X remain highly capable, but the economic efficiency ceiling just keeps getting pushed higher and higher.
And finally, Section 6, Securing Enterprise Deployments.
Just when this architecture seems totally invincible, we have to sharply pivot. We need to talk about the existential security flaws inherent in vLLM's default settings. The harsh reality here is that, by design, vLLM prioritizes throughput over isolation. There is a highly dangerous misconception out there that using the internal API key flag keeps you secure. It absolutely does not. That built-in key only guards specific generation paths. It leaves secondary routes completely unprotected and publicly accessible. On top of that, unredacted bearer tokens frequently leak right into plaintext debugging logs. The golden rule: you must never expose the raw vLLM process directly to the open internet.
And this isn't just theoretical. This has led to actual documented critical vulnerabilities. For example, look at CVE 2025-3165. When vLLM runs across multiple nodes, it uses a communications framework called zero-Q. Well, by default, this zero-Q traffic is entirely unencrypted and unauthenticated. These vulnerabilities show that unauthenticated plain-text zero-Q streams in distributed setups have literally allowed attackers to inject malicious payloads via unsafe pickle deserialization, successfully achieving full remote code execution. That is a nightmare scenario.
So how do we actually lock this down? You can't just leave the front door wide open. To deploy this safely, DevOps teams absolutely have to put a dedicated reverse proxy, like Nginx, in front of the cluster with strict endpoint allow listing. For internal clusters, you must rigidly wrap all of that internode 0MQ traffic in mutual TLS, or MTLS, using a service mesh like Istio. Furthermore, you've got to enforce strict Kubernetes network segmentation, physically isolate those ports to neutralize internal network threats. Security simply cannot be an afterthought when you're running this kind of infrastructure.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. I really hope this explainer leaves you thinking deeply about the hidden, highly mechanical realities of artificial intelligence. The software is brilliant, for sure, and the hardware is getting astonishingly fast. But the operational discipline required to run it safely and efficiently, it's immense. As these open-weight models scale into the hundreds of billions of parameters, the ultimate question remains: is your infrastructure actually ready for the global AI deployment era? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.